Welcome. Today's spiritual cliff note is food for teachers, preachers, Bible students, and church members. If you were not included in the group that I just mentioned, pray about it. This week's text is found in the book of Titus, first chapter, first verse. This is out of the Amplified Bible. Paul, a bond servant of God and an apostle, a special messenger of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, to stimulate and promote the faith of God's chosen ones and to lead them on to accurate discernment and recognition of an acquaintance with the truth which belongs to and harmonizes with and leads to godliness. This week's title, Core Duties. In our focus text, Paul presents himself as a servant of God and an apostle commissioned by Christ. The verse focuses on faith, acknowledgement of the truth, and godliness, which is an active reverence toward God. Meditation on this verse led me to consider the assignment given teachers and or preachers and the related core responsibilities that accompany the assignment as presented in our focus text. As you will gather as we proceed, I am a strong advocate for the continuing importance of Sunday school, regardless of your age, and serious Bible study. Make note that this letter is addressed to those already in the faith. And this speaks against assuming that everything is concluded when one joins church and is baptized, because that's actually only the beginning. What I now share is not inclusive of all the responsibilities of teachers and or preachers, but prayerfully it will give you food for thought, meditation, and growth. The text talks about stimulating and promoting faith. For me, that raised the question, how might this faith stimulation occur? Well, for one thing, one should know their listener and communicate in a manner that they can hear and understand. Also, faith-based teacher/preacher transparency, which includes their own personal Christian experience sharing. Paul was always very clear about who he was, what he was saved from, the challenges that he had to overcome in order to serve, and what it cost him to be faithful. We can also stimulate faith by demonstrating that the current subject is important by not limiting what we share to the printed text, which is actually just the starting point. And in the case of Bible study or Sunday school, is something the students should have read and pre-studied in order to increase their potential for faith growth and in stimulating the faith of others as a co laborer with the teacher. And extremely important is a demonstration of sincere care for and about the listener. Looking at this verse also raised the question for me, how can faith be promoted? Well, I believe that faith can be promoted by teacher and or preacher faithfulness in preparation, attendance, and availability. Also by being an example of faith in action. Those that we are teaching to or preaching to will learn far more from what they see in us than what they hear from us. Sound and relative teaching and or preaching that's been well prepared, well thought out, and presented in a manner that captures the attention of those that are listening. Regular assembly of the saints is important, just as it is the teacher's and or preacher's responsibility to be consistent in attendance and participation. It is equally essential that the listener, student, congregation be faithful in their attendance, participation, and class and or church attendance preparation. Then how does one lead to accurate discernment and recognition of the truth? This discernment is a simple definition is being able to tell if what you hear or read of God is of God. Then we can utilize functional recognition. Once we have discerned that what we read or heard is of God, we can actually put it into action, make it functional in our life. Dealing with truth that harmonizes with and lends to godliness. This harmony is simply being in agreement with, supporting, and promoting godliness. My simple definition of godliness is striving to act and be as God's way would have us do it. Obviously, I am not in agreement with the potential response to this spiritual cliff note, which could be, it doesn't take all of that. I submit that God's inspired word, as represented in our focus text, states otherwise. What will you do with what you've just heard? Amen.